Start video.
It'll be just a moment.
Okay. I'm feeling so stupid getting on here. I wouldn't let me in if I were you.
Okay, my screen says we're now live streaming.
We should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Dobberton, down at the left bottom of your screen, there should be a thing that looks like a video camera that says start video.
Yeah,
Click that.
okay. Bing.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Dwayne, are you also recording?
No.
There should be a record button.
There is, but it records to nowhere, John. Where do you want it to record to? I went to VBR. I meant to talk to you about it. I didn't talk to IT about it. I can record it to my computer, or I can record it to the cloud.
Well, I would record it to your computer for now so that you could get it later and figure out how IT can deal with that for you.
Well, IT's response was it's saved on YouTube and can be accessed at any time at the city's.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay, well, I guess for now, just to make me feel good, hit record.
Done that.
All right, thank you.
Brought in our first case. I can attempt to rename that for. It's the person with 330-529-2020, Margaret Carol Vincent.
Yeah.
Okay, Dwayne, I was going to call the meeting to order before you did that, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to call the January meeting of the City of Akron Housing Appeals Board to order. Board members received the minutes of the previous meeting in the mail. Were there any comments, changes, additions, or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, the minutes stand approved as mailed. Okay, Dwayne, I think we can take our first case.
I believe Jody would announce that. I brought in Margaret Carol Vincent and renamed her. So
This might be a good time to swear in the staff and the witness.
Is Ms. Vincent with us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I am.
Great,
Yes,
thank
honey.
you. Hey, Mr.
Okay, Ms. Vincent, I'm going to swear you
Yeah.
in so you can testify. If you could
Yes.
raise your right hand for us.
Yes,
And Ms. Forrester and Mr. Greger, do you all swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
yes.
I do.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
Thank you. Jody, could you present the first case, please?
Yes. New case 5844, 2169 9th Street Southwest. There has been no compliance with housing orders issued against this property, which is vacant, dilapidated, tax delinquent, has been secured by the city and is not registered. The deteriorated condition of this property is a blighting influence on the neighborhood, and the housing division recommends that it be demolished with all costs assessed. The exterior only of the property was inspected on January 14th, 2021. Repairs include faded siding and peeling trim paint, missing sections of gutter, missing downspouts, broken windows, missing windows, replace the front porch steps, missing front storm door, loose handrails, replace the rear deck steps, clean the moss from the rear short roof, trim the trees away. There was minor trash and rubbish, and there is a one-car garage. Repairs to that include the foundation has shifted, repair the roof, repair the siding, and install an overhead door.
Thank you. Ms. Vincent, what would you like
Yes.
us to know about this property? What do you want to tell us?
Well, it's my home, honey. And because of health, I'm with my son right now. I want to sell the home Matter of fact, I had a buyer, but a couple weeks ago, he passed away with COVID. Along with that, the same week, my sister-in-law died of COVID.
Oh, we're
It
sorry
has
for your
been
loss.
Thank you, honey. This has been an ongoing thing for me and a health issue. And as you know, if you don't pay for your medical care, you don't get it. I've had a few serious operations. I need some more, but I'm putting them all on hold till I can get this taken care of. Now, I have a gentleman now that is interested in buying the house, redoing it, and I take it he's going to live there, but he cannot take over until the end of April or the 1st of May. Now, I'm hoping my son and I, when the weather breaks, can get someone to put new steps on, get the trees trimmed. I want to get the garage roof done and a door put on. The broken windows, I believe, are on the front porch. And to do as much as we can before he takes over. I don't know what to say, honey. I'm in a situation. Money is the biggest thing right now. My apologies so much go out for us having to hold off on so many things. It's embarrassing. To be honest, it's humiliating. That house used to be beautiful. And because of money, I've had to hold off. But now I'm so sure that things are going to fall through when this gentleman takes over. It's just getting to the point to the end of April. And I don't know what to say or do to get there, honey. I don't know.
Well, it's a problem. I think one of our big concerns is the fact that this has had orders on it since early in 2016, and we're now early in 2021. And several times during that period, you have indicated to the staff that you plan to sell the house. And we
Right.
keep hearing that you plan to sell the house. And we're many years into this now, and the house just keeps getting worse.
Well, I was going to sell it, and then I wanted to move back home really bad. After my husband passed away, I had his medical bills. He was at Cleveland Clinic for 27 days. That was a horrible expense, even with our insurance. He had pancreatic cancer. And that kind of shot it down. Things were going well, and then my son had his foot amputated. That was another thing, because it's just him and I left to take care of things. We're the only two left. When my grandchildren were home from the military, they were right there to help, but they can only be home on leave just a few days. There has been complications. It's like a vicious circle that I can't get off. Every time I think something good is going to happen, something comes up. I just feel God has blessed me with this man that's going to take over the house. It's just getting to that point, honey. I don't know where to go from here. It's my home. It's the last thing I have. And I sure don't want it torn down. I'd love to have that chance to sell it again. I can't go back. I've had a couple strokes. I can't live there by myself anymore. I have to be on a one level. And be honest, I can't be alone. So I'm in a situation, honey, it's a catch-22. I've never been in this kind of a situation before. I guess I'm just looking at, please give me that chance to sell it to this man and get out from under everything.
One of the notes about this property that we have shows that sometime near the end of last year, you indicated that you had a potential purchaser, but they couldn't take possession until January. Is that the same
Right.
person we're now talking about that's going to be March or April? Or was that a
No,
different
darling.
person?
Yes, that gentleman died of COVID.
Okay,
And yeah, he was my buyer and he was headstrong in doing this. And I couldn't believe it. At the same time he died, my sister-in-law did of COVID. So it's like I say, sweetheart, every time I turn around, there's like 2 steps backwards. I get so excited thinking everything is fine, and then this comes up.
okay, you just said a little earlier that before this new potential owner could take the property, you wanted to do some things to it. What was it again that you said you wanted to do?
I wanted to put on the new front steps, have the trees trimmed back. I wanted to put a roof on the garage and a new garage door. And then the windows on the front porch that are broke, replace them.
Do you have the money to be able to do this?
Right at this very second, no. But I'm hoping before he would take possession that I will have it. I've canceled all my surgeries to where I can put money into this house. And when the weather breaks, I'm hoping to get out there and have a handyman come and help me take care of this.
Is the potential buyer expecting that you will do these things before he takes it over?
No, he told me that he would make all the improvements, do everything. This was just things I guess I wanted to do because it's my home. I just wanted to do it myself. Well, not me, honey. Get a fix-it guy out there. But no, he said he would take care of all of it.
Okay. Board members, questions?
Not a
Beg your
question, but a
pardon?
comment. Since it's been almost 5 years, and not only does she have issues, but we've had 10 complaints from neighbors who have issues with this house over the last 5 years. Yeah, and it's been a
That's
problem for the
really-
neighborhood all that time. And there's $9,500 in back taxes on this property.
That is what I wanted to ask.
That's
Is
not-
there any chance that they can take off of the assessments where they've come out? I was telling Jody the worst thing that happened. My son, myself, and a man come out to look at the house, and a friend of ours to see about any improvements. And we had left to get some things. We were there working on it. And my son went and visited some of the neighbors while Matt and I went, and him and I was getting parts for the house, different things that I wanted, plus cameras to set up. And when I got back, they had already shut the doors and screwed them shut and the whole thing. I went and we got my son from the neighbors, and we couldn't even get in, and we didn't have any of the tools to get back in. Is there any chance? I know every time I turn around, I'm doing something wrong. Is there any chance they can take that off of the taxes where I can start making payments? It would help a lot if they could.
Separate government entity.
My notes show that the inspector found the property open on October 10th, 2019, and our contractors didn't secure it until October 28th, 2019.
And that was, I think, a couple windows, I don't know, and the back door. But then they did the front door, and I couldn't get in.
And that was
Now,
in June. The inspector found it open on June 9th. Our contractor didn't secure it until June 19th.
Right.
So it wasn't on the
That-
same day. And then the last time it was secured was, we found it open on December 16th and we secured it on December 23rd.
Correct.
So we're not ever securing them when on the same day we find them open. And it appears
No.
the city has had to secure it half a dozen times or more.
My God. Oh,
This house has been a problem for us, I have to say, for
I'm so
almost
sorry.
5 years.
Gotta go.
Is there any way they can give me till this gentleman can take over? Is there any way that they can? I can promise you it will be done by then.
Well, I wouldn't make any promises that rash if I were you.
No, I can. I can.
You said you think this potential buyer wants to live in it himself, or he wants to rent it, or what?
You know, I think he wants to live in it for a while. He had said to me that he wanted to do all the improvements, live in it for a while, and then possibly sell it himself. I know this is a for sure. There's no getting around about it. If I wasn't, believe me, I would be honest with you. I've been honest the whole way, except things have come up that has stopped me from, I wanted so bad to move home until I had this last stroke, and I can't. It has to be sold, honey. It has to be. I have no choice.
Yeah.
Jody, when was the last time we were inside?
I have to look here through Matt's notes.
Sure. The orders that I have, I think, are all exterior.
That's why I'm looking through Matt's notes just to see if he has any notes saying that he saw the interior.
Probably not. The interior is fine. Absolutely. We had put quite a...
The only thing that he had listed on here is that the left rear basement window frame was rotted out and the glass was loose. And the right rear window was missing glass and open. View from this window shows plumbing missing. And that
Thank you.
was May 1st, 2018.
Has your potential buyer been inside the house?
Yes. Yes.
Does he know that there are housing division orders on the property?
No, honey. I hadn't even mentioned that. He was, when he looked at the house, he said everything would be corrected. He's seen what needed to be done, and he told me he would take care of all of that if I would sell it to him, and he could take possession at the end of April, the 1st of May.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to speak for the board because they are certainly capable of speaking well enough for themselves, but I'm guessing that they have a lot of concerns about whether to let this property stand. If if any time were given, and I don't know that there will be, if any time were given, Ms. Forrester would have to get inside the property and
Okay.
see what needs to be brought into compliance on the interior. There would be a whole additional set of orders written on the interior of the property that the new owner would have to be aware of.
Oh, well, he was aware he was inside.
Well, he would look at it a little differently than probably one of our inspectors would.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand.
Board members, thoughts, questions?
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, only that please give me that chance. It's the last thing I have of my husband's, and it's still my home. I
Unless
know
the-
it needs work. I know it
unless-
does. And my,
Come on.
Mr. Dobberson?
Yeah, unless this potential buyer is just really cash rich, he's not going to get financing for this with a pending raise assessment against it. We've seen too many deals like that fall through. And once again, I feel very sorry for the neighbors, so.
I do too, and I'm so sorry. It humiliates me that this isn't done. But I can promise you from the bottom of my heart, please give me till the 1st of May and this will be taken care of. Please.
Well, we understand that is your best intention, but we would then be working with, someone that we have no idea who they are or how good they would be in doing the repairs either. And it's been a long time that this property's been sitting vacant with orders on it.
I don't know what to say. I don't.
I understand. I know how you feel, and this was your home and you would hate to see it torn down. I do understand that, but no matter what happens to it, it won't be your home anymore, so.
I know, honey, I know. But what I can get out of it would sure help me with finances.
Well,
And I want,
if the board orders the house torn down, the property will still belong to you. You will have a vacant lot that you would be able to sell to somebody to build a new home on. So you would still own the property, just the house would be gone.
it's just the outside that needs the work. The inside is fine. I
Well-
just don't know what to do.
And unfortunately, we don't know that the inside is fine. Jody, when this house came before us, did you request an interior inspection?
Yes,
And we didn't get it, is that correct?
correct.
So we would have had a better idea of what we were dealing with if you had scheduled that interior inspection with Ms. Forrester when you were notified.
The only letter I got, it didn't mention interior.
The letter that she received
Let me see.
explains
I have
how to
it right.
participate, but down at the very bottom of it, it says to contact me by Wednesday, January 13th, 2021 to arrange for an inspection.
Oh, I thought that meant for the outside, honey. I didn't know.
Did you contact her to schedule an outside inspection?
No, I talked to her, but I didn't. I guess that didn't even hit me that that's what it meant, sweetie. I don't. A lot of this stuff I don't understand. I'm sorry.
Are there any other questions or is there a motion from the board?
About a motion, new case 5844, the property at 2169 9th Street Southwest in that there has been no compliance with orders issued against this property. The property is vacant, dilapidated, tax delinquent, has been secured by the city and is unregistered. And the deteriorated condition is a blighting influence on the neighborhood. I move we raise with cost assessed.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
What does that mean?
Well, there's been a motion. Michael, do you want to explain it? It was your motion.
It
There's
means
been a
that
motion that they're recommending that we tear the house down, but we haven't voted on it yet, so we'll see. Hearing no discussion, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
I
Any opposed?
Oh, please.
Any
don't.
abstentions? Motion carries. Jody, could you explain what happens when a property is ordered raised by the board?
When a property is ordered demolished by the Housing Appeals Board, we have to hold the file for 30 days to see if an appeal of that demolition order is received. If we do not receive an appeal of the demolition order, we'll then send the necessary paperwork to our demolition program to proceed with scheduling the demolition.
What do? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do on this.
Well, the property has been torn down, so that process is now in place. You can file an appeal of that order with the Common Pleas Court. You have 30 days to do that, and they'll make a decision then on whether to uphold the board's recommendation or not. And after that 30 days time period is up, all of the paperwork gets sent over to the folks that do the demolition, and it gets put in their queue, and they will get around to it when this property comes up.
Oh, dear.
oh dear.
Who do I get a hold of for the appeal, honey?
You would need to contact an attorney.
Okay. I'm so sorry for all of this.
We are also sorry. The property just got to be a little too much for you with all of the other things you had going on.
I'm so sorry. Okay, thank you for hearing me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Madam Chair,
Mr. Greger.
for clarification, was there a no vote on the raise order, or was that the owner?
I didn't hear one.
No,
Okay,
there wasn't.
thank you. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Lee Dunham for the second case. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Do we have Mr. Dunham? He's connecting.
Hello?
Mr. Dunham?
Yes, yes,
Okay, just wanted to make sure you were with us.
I am.
Mr. York, do you want to swear him in?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Dunham, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, could you please raise your right hand?
Do you want me to turn my video on?
Yes, if you could.
Yeah, for sure. I just walked out of the building.
Okay, I see you now,
Awesome.
I think. All right, yes, thanks for raising your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Dunham, could you give us your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Lee Dunham, Dunham. My address is 800 Independence, Akron, Ohio, 44310.
And just for the record, would you tell us what your interest in this property is?
I work for the owner.
Right, okay. So, where are we? We asked for a few
Do you
things
want
to
me to
be
read the
done.
case then?
Yes, please, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Review case 5840, 262 South Portage Path. At the Housing Appeals Board meeting of December 15th, 2020, the board granted an extension until January 19th, 2021 to make repairs to electric, plumbing, furnace, install windows, keep secure, keep free of rubbish, and schedule an interior inspection. The property was inspected on January 15th, 2021. There had been progress to the electric. The electric was on. There had been some work to the plumbing. There was a new furnace installed. All the demo work was complete, and most of the windows had been installed, and most of the trash and rubbish had been removed. I did receive an email from Mr. Dunham today showing photographs that even more electrical work had been done since last Friday when I was there.
And Jody, the proper permits were pulled?
Yes, the permits have been pulled. The work hadn't been finalized to a point of inspection at the time.
Jody, my notes show also the water was to be turned on.
If you look at this photograph here, the furnace was installed and was waiting for the electrician to hook up the electric. So the water the water company won't turn the water on in the winter if you don't have heat. So they had to wait to get the
And just-
electric hooked up to.
And
Okay,
just so you guys know, the reason why we got slowed down on the electric was that we were originally not thinking that we could tie into what wasn't damaged by the fire. And in the process of tearing that portion of the house out, we discovered that it was all knob and tube and it was failing. So that's why we had to just kind of pause for a minute. And now we are just running the rest of the wires through the house. That's what we're doing now.
great. So you've been busy.
Yeah, actually, 2 snowstorms, a pandemic, in the middle of Chris, 2 holidays, 2 snowstorms, and a pandemic, and we still got stuff done. So I feel like we made a lot of progress. We got all the windows in on the first 2 floors, as Jody stated. We're like 6 weeks out on ordering the windows for the 3rd floor, which we need 2 of them. So we're trying to find something. We've been looking at Habitat for Humanity and a couple of local contractors that we work with to see if we can buy windows. We just didn't want to retrim all the windows and tear the drywall out if we can buy something that's really, really close.
Okay, I have a question about the windows that you have installed. Are you at all concerned about them being broken out again? Is there any thought that you might board over them for a while?
So, I think we've made a presence in the neighborhood, and between our guys, but we have our guys that work for us. We call them in-house guys that work for us that do cleanup and stuff like that. So we try to make a presence here during the day, and the electrician's been spotty at night, and then the evenings working here. So I think we made a presence, and I've been talking to the neighbors, and I've offered all of them help, like with what we do at construction. So I think we're good. I think that we've made it known that we want to make this a better place for everybody, not just ourselves.
Okay, thanks. I just didn't want you to be investing money that you'd have to reinvest.
No, we're moving forward. Our intentions are hopefully within. I don't want to promise the 30 days, but our goal is to have, this thing pretty close to being done and working on the siding within 30 days, weather permitting.
So what are your next steps?
Our goal right now is to finish the electric because that's what's holding up everything right now, and that way we can get the furnace turned on, and then getting the plumbing done, electrical, heating, plumbing, finish work. So once we get the electric done and get the furnace on, then we can start the process of scrubbing the walls and getting some oil-based paint on the walls to seal that smoke and soot in. So our next move is to get the wiring done, which I'm on site tonight right now. We're still working here. So the goal is to get the electric done as quick as possible and then move forward on the gas, water, and then the drywall portion in the first room there.
Board members, questions?
I'm here. I can do it.
Um,
We're speechless because you've actually, tried to do what we asked you to do.
That's my position.
Does-
I'm the general manager at the company that I work for, which is Canon, which Todd owns. And that's what I usually do. I try to stay on task. That's my job as an organization. So I feel like I do a pretty good job. But we even had some hiccups, but I thought we
I'm gonna say,
Will all the utilities be on in 30 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jody, can you see this guy? Hi, Jody. How you been? You know who that is?
No, I can't see.
It's Dale.
I can't see her.
Down the corner.
Okay, I see her. Yeah, it's been a few years.
Bench? Dale Bench? Dale Bench. You dealt with him a lot, he said.
So Jody's fan club is with us tonight. Board members, any other questions for Mr. Dunham?
That's a good thing, I think, right?
If not, are we ready for a motion?
And Mr. Dunham, you say you're going to wrap this up in 30 days now.
No. Our goal is to have the interior portion, the electric, have all the utilities on, the walls sealed, scrubbed, sealed, and then moving forward on the siding at the same time is what our goal is. So we're thinking we can get the inside done in 30 days. We'll be real close. And then, like I said, moving to the outside we're going to do a metal roof, a decorative metal roof across the front. We actually went to the supply house today to pick out material for vinyl siding that we're gonna put on.
Okay.
All
I
right,
can
gotta
try
edit.
a motion, Pam.
Good luck.
Review, yeah. And Mr. Dunham, if I go over something you want to point it out to me that it can't be done. Review case 5840, the property at 262 South Portage Path. I move we grant a continuance until the February meeting to allow the owner to complete the electric, heating, the plumbing, finish the windows, turn all the utilities on, and you mentioned plaster walls.
Yeah, the first two rooms in here where the
Okay.
fire was actually at, we're gonna insulate. Once they get the electrical part done, we're gonna spray all the studs with oil base before we insulate and then put drywall up. So that will be our next, after the electric, it'll be spray, insulation, and then drywall.
Okay, and drywall, the fire damaged portions, keep the property secure, free of debris, and schedule an inspection.
Okay.
Get a
Is there a
second.
second? Thank you.
second,
Thank you. Mr. Dunham, I think I heard you indicate to Mr. Dobberton that you felt that was doable in 30 days. Am I correct?
I do. I feel like with the way progress is going now, that should be easily maintained. Okay.
Any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
aye,
Hey,
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Dunham, good luck.
Awesome. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll see you in 30 days.
Okey doke. Okay.
Okay, if we could let Mr. Brennan in. Okay, we're connected.
Okay, Mr. York. You're up.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Drennan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, could you raise your right hand? I'd like to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Drennan, could you please, for the record, give us your name and address, please?
Ronald Drennan, 30 East Brookside, Akron, Ohio.
Is 30 East Brookside where you're living?
No, I stay with my cousin right now.
Are you getting mail at Brookside or are you getting mail at your cousin's?
I get mail at both places.
Jody, do we have the addresses that we need?
The mail was signed for at 30 East Brookside.
Okay. Could you present the case for us?
Yes, new case 5845, 30 East Brookside Avenue. There has been minimal compliance.
Jody, I'm
with
sorry.
housing-
I don't want to interrupt. Could we see the pictures?
Yeah, I was gonna, as soon as I read the case, then I was gonna
Oh, okay, okay.
flip them over. It's okay. There has been minimal compliance with housing orders issued against this property, which is vacant, heavily vandalized, fire damaged. The owner's whereabouts were unknown until Mr. Drennan contacted me. So let's alter that to state owner deceased. It has been secured by the city and is not registered. The deteriorated condition of this property is a blighting influence on the neighborhood, and the housing division recommends that it be raised with cost assessed. The property was inspected on January 15th, 2021. Most of the rooms are down to the studs. There's no hot water tank. The furnace needs to be cleaned and serviced. There was water running in at the rear room foundation, so at the left rear foundation. I mean, we had some rain and some snow, but there was a lot of water running in at that back foundation. There's some mold and mildew in the basement bathroom. The drain for the kitchen sink was disconnected under the kitchen sink and in the basement. The electric needs to be repaired with a permit. Clean and seal all the smoke damage, repair the steps to the second floor, install handrails, install the shower surround for the upstairs bathtub, missing upstairs bathroom sink, missing windows, repair siding. There's trash and rubbish in the rear yard, missing fascia wrap, trim paint, install the rear deck lattice, and install the missing rear downspouts.
Thank you. Mr. Drennan, what is your interest in this property?
My wife had killed herself back in August, and shortly after the house caught fire back in September of 2000.
Am I the only one that can't hear him?
No, I can't.
I think his screen might be frozen.
I'm sorry, Mr. Drennan, if you're talking to us, we can't hear you. Hey, where was the water coming from? You said there was a lot of water running into the basement.
Yeah, I'll show you the photograph. Let's see. Right here, this is at the rear foundation in this back room. So here's the top of the wall. There's a crack, but there was water just pouring in through this foundation. So it had to be coming from the exterior. But at that point, there was no means to determine
Thank you.
exactly where, other than groundwater.
Yeah.
Madam Chair?
It looks like he
Yes, Mr. York.
I thank you for recognizing me. I just wanted to see if Dwayne was able to get Mr. Drennan back into the meeting or update his screen so that we could know whether he's participating.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's disconnected and he is not with us and he's not in the waiting room. I was going to give him a minute to see if he was able to reconnect through the waiting room.
Yeah,
We
he
should
might have.
probably wait for him to come in before proceeding further, just to make sure that he is able to hear what's going on and answer any questions.
Yeah, I agree. He may have. Wayne?
I'm sorry, I'm readmitting him right now.
Okay.
Oh, good. Mr. Drennan, are you back with us?
Mr. Drennan needs to unmute his microphone.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Some of us recently.
Mr. Drennan, if you're with us and can hear us, please unmute your microphone. Dwayne, is he still showing muted?
He's still muted.
He's still in the room. He's muted and there's no video for him right now. We did have video for him for about 10 seconds and now he is no longer in the room. So.
Can we table this and move on to another order and come back to him?
We can, we have no one else waiting. Is that correct, Dwayne?
That's correct.
Let's give him just another minute to see if he can get back in. And Jody, I missed this when I asked him, and I will ask him again on the record when he's back, but he is a relative of the deceased owner, is that correct?
The husband.
The husband of the deceased, okay.
Oh.
They were estranged and then she committed suicide.
Okie dokie.
I'm readmitting him.
Thank you.
Mr. Drennan, you need to unmute your microphone, please.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Isn't technology grand?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Drennan, I think we lost you right after you started trying to talk to us before. What is your interest in this property? You're not the recorded owner, and I understand the owner is deceased.
Yeah, the owner is my wife. She had killed herself back in August 17th.
I'm sorry.
I haven't really known where to even begin with the property, because the last I knew, she had the mortgage and stuff in a forbearance program with the bank. With the reconstruction of the house, we had split up shortly after the house had caught fire back in September of 2019. So I really haven't had much part or even any knowledge of the house, like what was being done with it, until after my uncle had contacted me and said that there was a letter posted on the door. And that's when I contacted Jody. And this is kind of the beginning steps.
So, so this evening, the board is going to talk about whether they should order the house torn down.
Correct.
what, do you know what's going to happen with the property?
I do not.
Okay. Is there a will or anything that we're dealing with here?
Not that I'm too aware of.
Okay. Do you, since you don't even know, go ahead. Oh, I thought it was Kathy.
I'm sorry.
Since you don't know what's going to happen to the property or who's going to end up with title to it, let me just ask this to start off with. Do you have objections to it just being torn down?
Yes.
Okay, talk to us about that and what you would like to see done.
Ultimately, I would like to repair and, get it back to living conditions. I currently do have a baby on the way now. So,
Congratulations.
well, thanks. So, I understand there's a lot of work that does need to be done.
Yeah, would you have the finances to be able to do it?
Yes.
Okay, so there is a mortgage on the property and there is an additional lien on the property. So the mortgage is about $60,000. And then there's a lien on the property of around $3,000. So you'd have to figure out how to get the property in your name, work out something with the mortgage company for those payments, or you may fix the house up and they decide to file a foreclosure and take the house.
Right.
I guess a concern that I have is that we have no idea how long it's going to take to even determine who will have title to this property. Board members, any thoughts?
Mr. Drennan, hearing what the mortgage and the lien is this property worth well in excess of $63,000 to you? So if you had a chance to acquire it?
Yeah.
Have you been in touch with any of the other nearest relatives to your ex-wife?
Yes.
And they said what? Did anybody said they expected to inherit, or?
As far as I know, nobody's expecting to inherit it. We actually, shortly after the house had caught fire, my wife had went out and bought a 2020 Chevy Blazer and bought it outright, paid I think like $38,000 or $39,000 for it. And I actually inherited that when she had passed away.
And how did that happen? That you inherited that?
Because we was married.
And you were still married when your wife passed away, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, so are you saying that there's nothing in probate court at this time to
No, ma'am.
show? Are you planning it
Do what?
to go to probate court?
Yes.
Thank you.
Other questions, other thoughts?
Can we have a board discussion?
I don't think so.
No,
Okay.
it's all live, no sidebars.
Oh, well, geez. Okay.
Mr. Dobberton, you had a question?
Yeah, from the pictures, the front part of this doesn't look so bad. The rear, not so much. Have any of the inspectors talked with the neighbors? I didn't see a complaint listed from a neighbor. Oh, no.
Gonna see where the original complaint came from.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
The original complaint came from a neighbor through the city's City Works program.
Mr. York,
Yes.
I know you can't give legal advice, but just a question of mine. Since they were still married, should Mr. Drennan run into a lot of issues getting this property in his name, inheriting it from?
Gosh, I really don't know. I couldn't say. I would think it might be worth him consulting with an attorney to find that out. I would think since they were still married, it would not be nearly as difficult as if they were not still married. So, but I really couldn't answer that. I'm just not sure.
Thank you. Jody, I guess I'm wondering what your thoughts are on the condition of the property right now. I guess my thought is possibly granting a 30-day extension just to allow Mr. Drennan to seek legal advice to see where he might stand in gaining title to this property. What sort of a blight is it to the neighborhood right now?
Well, since the garage debris was cleaned up, and I'm not sure who that was cleaned up by, it may have been customer service when I referred it to them back in when the file first started. But there is a looks like a hot tub or a jacuzzi or something in the backyard and some minor trash. So if that were cleaned up and the house was kept secure, then it wouldn't look that bad from 3 sides.
Thank you.
Mr. Drennan, have you been out to the house?
Yes, sir.
When was the last time?
I was there actually earlier today.
Okay.
Do you have keys to the house, Mr. Drennan?
Yes.
Okay.
That helps.
Other thoughts from board members?
Pam, I was having the same thoughts that you had about giving a 30-day extension so he could get legal counsel on how to get things going with this and get things over to him.
Any other thoughts? Is there a motion? In that case, are there any other questions? That might be slowing us down from making a motion.
Would my best bet to be legal wise to contact an estate attorney?
I can't answer that question. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We cannot give legal advice, Mr. Drennan.
Sir, the Akron Bar Association, you might want to try the Akron Bar Association. You could explain the situation and they have an attorney referral service. They might be able to refer you to an attorney.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. York.
Sure.
You got a piece of paper?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
since more than one person was looking at the idea, an extension to see if something could be resolved with this. And since the exterior is not a total embarrassment, I will make a motion. New case 5845, property at 30 East Brookside Avenue. I move we grant a compliance extension until our February meeting to allow the family to initiate, what am I looking for? Probate, and come back to us with a written plan for rehabilitation. In the meantime, keep the property secure, free of debris. And do we need an interior, Jody? I'll just throw it on and schedule an interior inspection.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Drennan, do you understand the motion and does it sound doable to you?
Yes, ma'am.
And one of the things in Mr. Dobberton's motion was keep the property secure. The city has found it open a couple of times and had to board it up. So make sure you're driving by there and Jody,
Yeah.
before we put the
Yeah.
motion to a vote, can Mr. Drennan is not the owner. Can we expect him to keep it secure?
If he wants to still standing so he can buy it, yeah, I can.
Yeah, he has an interest in the property.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
And Mr. Drennan, when I said a written plan, we like to see what the owner, potential owner's
Michael, you're-
plans are for the property. And I don't care if you run it on a napkin, just something to say, okay, yeah, what? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
You're breaking up.
Break up. Oh, okay. A written plan is any notes on what you plan to do with it, the property.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Drennan, you may also want to contact Ms. Forrester to get a copy of the orders so you know everything that needs to be done to the property as you start to think about how much it's going to cost and what needs to be.
Okay.
Good luck. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, Michael, for making the thing for me.
Okay, do you have anyone else in the waiting room?
There is no one else here. Wait.
And by the way, did all of you welcome Carol back from the hospital with her COVID? I think she's still at the end of her quarantine.
We welcomed Kathy back from the end of her
Kathy
quarantine.
Black, I'm sorry.
I'm just Rapunzel in the tower.
But we can welcome Carol for signing on to Zoom and joining us.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is our first
Hi, Carol.
virtual meeting that Carol's been able to join us.
Okay.
Okay, Jody, next case.
All right, let me get the pictures up. All right, the next case is new case 5846, 1312 Hamel Street. There has been no compliance with housing orders issued against this property, which is vacant, dilapidated. The owner's whereabouts are unknown. It is tax delinquent and not registered. The deteriorated condition of this property is a blighting influence on the neighborhood, and the housing division recommends that it be demolished with all costs assessed.
New case. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I make a motion, please? New case.
Go ahead.
New case 58461312 Hamel Street. There has been no compliance with the housing orders issued against this property, which is vacant, dilapidated. It is the owner's whereabouts are unknown. It is tax delinquent, $1,559.37. It is not registered. The deteriorated condition of this property is a blighting influence on the neighborhood. I move that this property be raised with all costs suitably assessed.
Second.
Any discussion? We have had this property before us in the past when we ordered the garage demolished. Hey, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
New case 5847, 302 to 304 Ira Avenue. There has been no recent compliance with housing orders issued against this property. It is vacant, heavily vandalized, dilapidated, the scene of police activity. It is tax delinquent, has been secured by the city, and is not registered. The deteriorated condition of this property is a blighting influence on the neighborhood, and the Housing Division recommends that it be demolished with all costs assessed.
New case 5847, 302, 304 Ira Avenue. Whereas there has been no recent compliance with housing orders issued against this property, which is vacant, heavily vandalized, dilapidated, scene of police activity, tax delinquent, has been secured by the city, is not registered, and the deteriorated condition of this property is a blighting influence on the neighborhood. I move the property be raised with all costs assessed.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
New case 5848, 764 Roselawn Avenue. There has been no compliance with housing orders issued against this property, which is vacant, heavily vandalized, dilapidated, the scene of police activity. It is tax delinquent and has been secured by the city. The deteriorated condition of this property is a blighting influence on the neighborhood, and the Housing Division recommends that it be demolished with all costs assessed.
New case 5848, 764 Roselawn Avenue, where there has been no compliance with housing orders against this property, which is vacant, heavily vandalized, dilapidated, police activity, tax delinquent, secured by the city. The deterioration condition of this property is a blighting influence on the neighborhood, and I move we raise with all costs assessed.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a question. Jody, had you been inside this?
No.
Okay.
You don't have to go far to deliver paperwork.
Just wondering.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
New case 5849, 441 Talbot Avenue. There has been no recent compliance with housing orders issued against this property, which is vacant, dilapidated, the scene of police activity. It is heavily fire damaged. The owner's whereabouts are unknown. It is tax delinquent and not registered. The deteriorated condition of this property is a blighting influence on the neighborhood, and the Housing Division recommends that it be demolished with all costs assessed.
Seeing no questions, new case 5849, the property at 441 Talbot Avenue. In that there has been no recent compliance with orders on this property. Property is vacant, dilapidated, the scene of police activity, and heavily fire damaged. The owner's whereabouts are unknown. The property is tax delinquent and is unregistered. The deteriorated condition is a blighting influence on the neighborhood. I move we raise with cost assessed.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
New case 5850, 1037 West Wilbeth Road. There has been no compliance with housing orders issued against this property, which is vacant, dilapidated, the scene of police activity. It is heavily fire damaged. The owner's whereabouts are unknown. It is tax delinquent, has been secured by the city, and is not registered. The deteriorated condition of this property is a blighting influence on the neighborhood, and the Housing Division recommends that it be demolished with all costs assessed.
Second.
I need a motion before.
Oh,
I
sorry.
second.
I was reading the paper so hard. I'd like to make a motion, please.
Go ahead.
New case 58501037 West Wilbeth Road. There has been no compliance with housing orders issued against this property, which is vacant, dilapidated, the scene of police activity. It is heavily fire damaged. The owner's whereabouts are unknown. It is tax delinquent by $12,397.52. It is not registered, and the deteriorated condition of this property is a blighting influence on the neighborhood. I move that this property be raised with all costs suitably assessed.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Right, and the last case is new case 5851 406 Woodland Avenue. When the research was done by the company for this property, they missed a foreclosure that had been filed by the Summit County Land Bank. We missed it additionally. The search engines have changed, and due to the name of the owner, it was difficult to find the foreclosure. So after this was placed on the agenda, it was brought to our attention by Jim Davis with the Summit County Land Bank that they did have an active foreclosure on the property and plan to proceed with that foreclosure and then sell the property to someone who would be able to renovate it and bring it up to code. I did speak with a neighbor today that was also concerned, thought that the house should be saved and that someone should fix the property up and save it rather than creating a vacant lot.
So Jody,
so I
are
guess
you
at this
just,
time
are you just removing it from the agenda?
well, it can either be removed from the agenda or the board could grant a 90-day extension to allow for the foreclosure to proceed. That way, if something happens that the foreclosure did not go through, we could reevaluate the situation in 90 days. That being said, if we remove it from the agenda and the foreclosure falls through, we can always put it back on the agenda.
Do you have a preference for how it's handled? Or Mr. York, would you have a recommendation?
Jody, was the, you mentioned that the foreclosure was missed. Does that mean that there was possibly a party that didn't get notice that would have otherwise gotten notice?
Well, the foreclosure is through the Summit County Land Bank. So they're notified of every property we take before the Housing Appeals Board. That's why, so they weren't notified with a normal letter we would send, but they're notified of our agendas. That's how they came to contact us to advise us that there was a foreclosure on this property.
Do you happen to notice, or did you happen to know when the foreclosure was filed?
Foreclosure was filed in August of 2019. And I'm not sure why it was held up, but when we spoke to Jim Davis, he stated that they were moving forward with the foreclosure at this time.
Yeah, I guess one way or the other, it really doesn't, I don't know that it matters whether the board keeps it on the agenda or removes it from the agenda. It sounds like either way, it's going to be monitored, and we think we know what's going to happen, but Jody will follow up and keep us advised one way or the other.
Jody, if you take it off, do you have to go through all the notification process again versus leaving it on with an extension and not having to go through the notification?
If we remove it from the agenda and put it on a new agenda, then yes, I would have to send new notifications to everyone involved, including the Summit County Land Bank that we didn't correctly notify this time. It's not really that big of a deal. We have to send notifications out for every meeting. So I would still have to send a notification for the meeting in 90 days.
But I'm all about making your life easy, so I'll go for a 90-day extension.
Will you put that in the form of a motion?
I can try. Correct me if I make a mistake, please. New case 5851, the property at 406 Woodland Avenue. The extension to the April meeting to allow a foreclosure on this property to be completed. In the meantime, for the property to be kept secure, free of debris. And I don't think we need to add an inspection to that, so I'll quit.
Second.
Can I get a second? Okay.
Any discussion on this one? If not, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
That was our last case. Again, I'm gonna miss you guys in the morning. I won't get to see your smiling faces, but Michael Lean will be down there at 7:45 with the paperwork. If you're not able to make it at that time, you can always come up to the 8th floor and we can ring you in so that you can sign the paperwork later in the day, but it does need to be signed tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dwayne, for running the meeting, and it was so nice to see you again, Carol.
Thank you.
Just
Okay,
an
anything-
observation, with all the notations of owners' whereabouts unknown, I'm beginning to feel like I live in New York. Everybody's leaving that state.
Anyone have any additional business that needs to be discussed?
Everybody stay safe.
Okay, if there is nothing else for the good of the order, our next meeting will be February 16th, 2021